All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha, Kodash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And shalom to the other sincere followers of this truth. All right. So, the next three videos on this channel, Lord willing. All right. You always have to say Lord willing because everything is determined by the Lord. All right. Not our will, not the will of our neighbors, not the will of our mothers and fathers. All right. But it is the will of our Heavenly Father. All right. So we always have to say Lord willing. All right. We always have to try to include that. All right. Even if it doesn't come out of our mouth, we, being the remnant, Lord willing, I am of the remnant. We always have that on our mind. But we do have to speak that so that people that are coming to these videos and listening get that through their head also. All right. Always keep that in mind. Everything is Lord willing. All right. You cannot make a move unless the Lord wills it. Okay. You cannot not make a move unless the Lord wills it. Okay. So, this is going to be a reading of Psalm, the other 83rd chapter. All right. And the lesson that in the series that we just got done with the topic being choose affliction over sin for a season. Okay. We mentioned Psalm 83, and I'm about to read why we mentioned that. All right. But before we get into this reading, since this is a new, a separate video from that series, all right, I always try to start the series, the topics out with what I'm about to go through now. All right. Just so we keep this in remembrance also. Because the pride of America, all right, is thick. Okay. We all think, people in America, all right, we all think that since we live here, that English, yes, it is rampant over here. Yes, it is the main language, right? But we cannot let this pride sit on us and think that we read something in English and therefore we understand everything we need to know just because we read it in English. All right. It doesn't help. It won't work completely with your studies. All right. Your biblical studies, your spiritual studies. All right. It does not help just to read the English and think that you got it. That's what all these churches have done and tricked you with. All right. But with that being said, let me go ahead and get some scriptures and or not. Let me go ahead and get something out of these writings, okay, and prove what I just said. Now, I'm about to read out of the Apocrypha, all right, which, if you are of the remnant and have been listening, okay, we've touched on listening on this channel. And if the Lord has granted you, if the Lord has willed you to have an eye salve, right, granted your eye salve to be open, all right, then you will know that the Apocrypha, the Old Testament, and the New Testament are all one testament. Okay? They pulled this thing out of the Bible, which it was a part of the Bible. If you look at the 1611 King James, it's in there. If you look at the Good News Translation, the Apocrypha is in there. Also, speaking of the Old and New Testaments, you have people arguing between the two. All right, saying which one they believe in and which one they don't. You cannot get rid of one without having to get rid of the other. All right. You can't believe in one without having to believe in the other. They were all one testament. They were written on a scroll and it was one testament. All right. Through the times, they've been split up into the Apocrypha, the Old Testament and the New Testament. All right. And it helps us get through the book easier. Right. But it was all one testament on the scroll. Okay. On the scrolls. So let me go here. We're going in the Apocrypha first, in the King James Version Apocrypha. And we're going to the book of Ecclesiasticus. All right. We're going to the prologue. Now, I'm only going to go to the point. I'm going straight to the point in the prologue. You can go through and you can see that the prologue is more than what I'm just reading, what I'm about to read, all right? But I'm just going straight to the point, okay? So, and this is speaking of why I mentioned English not being the end all be all right? Get that pride off of you just because you know English, okay? So, it reads, this is the prologue of Ecclesiasticus, again, in the Apocrypha. It reads, wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us wherein we may seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself, and the prophets, and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. Okay? I'm going to read that again, but I'm going to read it in the Good News translation. But before I do, so, like who my teachers, okay, they say there are lessons within lessons. So it's hard to speak about this and then move on to something else without another lesson popping up, all right? So, since I'm going to another translation, which is the Good News translation, I have to warn you that these things, these translations, can go off. One word, if you misunderstand one word, all right, if you don't have context of one word, if you don't have your foundation in this truth, all right, one thing can throw your path all the way off. All right, your trajectory, it can throw it off. Okay. So the Good News translation can go off. The New Living Testament can go off, or NLT, and the King James Version can go off. All right. But we stick to the King James mostly because that is closest to the Hebrew. Okay. But that does not mean that these things cannot go off. That's why it is important to listen. Get your foundation. All right. And you will be strengthened enough to read these things and not get confounded. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the Good News. And in the Good News, the book of Sirach is called, or the book of Ecclesiasticus is called the book of Sirach. All right. But it's the same thing. So I'm going to go here to the prologue. All right. And I'm going to read exactly what I just read. Okay. In the Apocrypha, in the Ecclesiasticus. All right. Again, the prologue. All right. It reads, let me urge you then to read this book carefully and with an open mind, and please be patient in those places where, in spite of all my diligent efforts, I may not have translated some phrases very well. What was originally written in Hebrew does not always have exactly the same sense when it is translated into another language. That is true not only of this book, but even of the law itself, the prophets, and the other books. The translations differ quite a bit from the original. All right, so you have to get your foundation. I can't speak to how important that is. All right, it's likened to, which your foundation is Yahweh Shai, right? Which is whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, and other names, but I'm not going to go through them all. All right, I'm tired of hearing those names, let alone uh, speaking them. But everyone, a lot of people, many people know that name Jesus. All right, so you know who I'm talking about. His actual name is Yahweh Shai. It is a Hebrew name. All right, now who fucking lied to us about the name? Hmm? That's just a question. I'm not going to go into it. But anyway, so his father, the Almighty, all right, his name, he has a name. His name is not God. That is a trait. That is a title. He is the only God. There's no one on his level. Okay. His name is Yahweh. Okay. But since there's an order to things, okay, right after Yahweh on the next level is Yahweh Shai. All right. The only begotten Son, the anointed, Hamashiach, or Ha is the Mashiach is Messiah. So the Messiah, all right, his only begotten Son. Okay. So now, what else? Because I know I want to touch on everything since this is the first reading. Okay. Um, the more you read these scriptures, okay, you will grow in faith. Okay, and you will know that everything in here is faithful and true. All right. So, with that being said, the Lord told us to warn our people. All right, which yes are Israelites, right? But this good news, this gospel, okay, this deliverance that is coming this time around is only for the remnant of Israel. So not even all Israel, just 1/3. I'm speaking mostly to America, okay? That's where the main focus is at. So 2/3 of Israelites in America, guess what's going to happen to you? Well, we'll guess what's going to happen to everyone who isn't an Israelite in America? They're going to burn up. Because this is now the solid ground that everyone is walking on here. You are walking on or in Babylon the Great, the valley of death, right? But it is also the future site of the lake of fire. Okay, I'm not going to go into that right now, but I'm telling you this, okay? Also, the people outside of being Israelites, they are going to get burned up, right? I don't know if I just mentioned that, but I'm mentioning it again. My question is, what is going to happen to 2/3 of Israelites, which are Israelites that aren't paying attention to this truth, are ignoring it, are mocking it, are scoffing at it, are coming up with their own doctrines, okay? Are playing with the Lord's name, are selling prayers, selling garments, not selling garments, hold on. Selling counseling, all right? Picking and choosing who they go speak to, all right? Making their own way, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. All right, they're making their own way for fame and glory of this world. It seems like I'm not in their heads, but it seems that way, that they're leading a lot of people elsewhere. Okay, what's going to happen to them? All right, if people outside of Israelites are going to get burned up, then you have 1/3 that's going to get delivered. Okay, what's going to happen to the 2/3? They're going to get burned up right with everyone else. All right, they're going to get burned up and melted in the lake of fire. All right, there is no if, ands, or maybes. There ain't no half stepping. All right, you Judites, well, you Judites around my age know what that is. That was in a music video. Anyway, so or a music's rap song from a while back. But there is no half stepping. You can't partially be in the truth. Um, you can't. There is no straddling the fence here. All right, either you're in or you're out. Okay, and how you can know this is if you listen. Okay, you have to pay attention to what is being said. The doctrine separates people. All right, that's how you know. Okay, there's an order to things. All right, our spiritual, our spirit, all right, is above and beyond people who have a false doctrine. And you would know that if you listen. And if you are not, uh, or if you are too blind to where you don't even know it, even if you so called listen, don't worry. On the Lord's day, you're going to find out one way or another. Everyone is going to know the truth. Okay. Uh, okay. So another thing. Um, so another warning. Okay, is since these things are faithful and true, the Lord told us to warn about. And I'm gonna read it. Actually, here. I'll read it here. All right, this is another warning. And the reason I'm going to this is because we have clocks all around the earth, right? But there is a time, there is a biblical, you can tell what time it is in the scriptures. All right. I haven't even done a lesson on that yet. All right. But you can tell what's going on. You can tell what time it is actually in the scriptures. And I don't mean what kind of old clock it is. What I'm saying is this age that we're in has a time limit to where it started and where it's going to end. All right. And the scriptures tell you what time it is. Okay. And there is a such thing as too late. All right. Anyway, so this is one gauge of what time it is. This prophecy right here. This is in Revelation 13, verses 16 and 17. All right. This is a warning. It says, and he causeth all, he being the evil one, Esau, Edom. There are lessons about Esau, Edom on this channel. All right. And I implore all of you to go to the community tab of this channel. Go to these other teachers and listen. Go listen. Like, you have to really listen. And if you are sincere, you will go listen. But I know the sound of my voice saying go to these other channels are probably going to send a lot of scoffers over there. But if you are sincere, just go over there and listen. Be prepared to learn and soak up all that you can. Lord willing, you will soak up all that you can. All right? It's time to wake out of sleep. Okay? So anyway, this is a warning. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So don't get it twisted. Just because it says in your right hand doesn't mean it has to be in your right hand, like right in the middle of your hand. It doesn't mean that. It can be between any finger. It can be in your palms. It can be in your wrist. Anywhere. In any hand. All right? It's going to be a thing inserted in you. A micro C hip. Put those together. C plus hip. It's all over the place now, man. This thing is here now. All right? The difference between it being here now and this prophecy is this prophecy told you right here in the beginning. And he causeth all. This thing is going to be made mandatory. All right? This is no joke. Like I said before, these things and these scriptures are faithful and true, and it's coming. All right? Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right? That's saying a lot right there, right? Like I said, I haven't gone into this lesson about this yet, but Lord willing, we will. All right? But do not take this thing, okay? Because there's no scripture that points to people that take it being able to repent. As a matter of fact, let's see. As a matter of fact, let's see what your fate is if you take it. The next chapter, verses 9 and 10, if I remember correctly, right? Yes. Revelation 14, verses 9 and 10. And the heading above 9 says, Doom for worshipers of the beast. All right. So verse 9 in Revelation 14. And this pertains to the warning I just read in Revelation 13, verses 16 and 17. All right. Because they're going to come at you with all kinds of craftiness to get you to do these things. All kinds of goodies and threats. All right. It's going to be what happened in C-19 with the thing. It's going to be that on steroids, man. All these threats. And they're more than likely going to come through on those threats. Throw you in jail, take your kids from you, stop your money. Because the money is going to be easier to control when we go digital. The dollar is dying. All right. These things are on the horizon. Not only did the Lord put it plainly in the scriptures, but Esau is telling you all over TV. Esau and his friends. All right. People trying to keep up with Esau. People holding his pocket. All right. His friends, his cohorts. All right. His confederacy, his alliance, which is everyone outside of Israel. And I don't mean the land, I mean the people. Everyone outside of Israelites, all right? They're all against you. Whether you know it or not, they're all against you. Okay? So they are going to come at you. They're going to use your laziness against you. All right? They're going to use convenience, which they go hand in hand, convenience and laziness. They're going to threaten you. If not you directly, they're going to threaten the ones you love. All right? Some of you people, even if you don't have family, let's say you, I don't know, say you in a foster home, or maybe all your family just passed away and you're the last one left. They're going to go after the things you covet. And if you don't think you have anything that you covet, what if they come after your freedom? All right? Okay? Your so-called freedom, your so-called liberty. Then what? They're going to find a way to tempt you. And it's going to be a strong temptation, a thick temptation. If you are not the Lord's, you will take that mark. And maybe some of you won't take it just to go against your government. You're still going to get filtered out by the Lord. That doesn't mean that you are of the Lord, all right? If you don't take it, you could just be trying to go against your government. All right, the Lord is going to shake things up around here. We're going to see who's who. That's why I always say, Lord willing, I'm of the remnant. Because I don't know. No one knows, all right? I mean, we have clues, though. These scriptures are clues. They point to everyone. They point to everyone, which is why and how people like myself and my teachers, they've people who preach these scriptures, read these scriptures, have ended up on a most violent group list because these words point to people. They don't feel good when you find yourself walking contrary to the Lord. It does not feel good. All right. So of course it doesn't feel good to the evil one, the main one. It does not feel good to them. It cuts them not to the white meat. It cuts them to the spirit. And I can't imagine what that feels like. I don't want to know what it feels like either. All right. Don't want to know. Like, I don't want to know at all. Just know you got some pain coming. You got some retribution coming. You got some, what is that? Revenge, get back, and payback. It's all coming to you. Double the cup of all that stuff, man. The wrath of the Lord, man. Look, we disobeyed the Lord and he loves us, and you see what we went through. You see what we have, you see what we went through and are still going through until the Lord comes back. And he loves us. All right, you see how destroyed we are. Can you imagine his indignation, his righteous anger at these people? What's going to happen to them? It's just going to be horrible, man. Horrible. And that's a human word. Like, it doesn't even amount to what's going to go down. All right, we've been through a lot, right? But Jacob's trouble is like no other trouble that has been here. We are about to go through that. That's a real thing. All right, so when they come and they preach about this so-called, this false, this cunningly devised fable they start telling you about rapture, man, they trying to disarm you, man. They're trying to lull you back to sleep. The closest thing to a rapture the closest thing to what they say rapture is when we heard this truth, our spirits said, no, this is not the way to go. Let me turn around and walk the ways of the truth. That's the closest thing to what they say a rapture is, all right? It's when we turned from this place. We did a whole 180, okay? And started walking in the old paths like we were meant to do from the beginning. To the best of our ability, of course, right? Okay? So I don't know how I got all the way there. Let me see if I can get back. Anyway, so this is going to be a part of this warning. So this is your judgment if you take that thing. All right? They're going to come at you. Don't take it. And this is your judgment. This is what it says is going to happen to you. Like I said before, the heading above Revelation 14 verse 9 says doom for worshipers of the beast. Verse 9 reads, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark, all right, that micro C hip, in his forehead or in his hand, listen up, this is verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, all right, which is Yahweh Shai, okay? I was going to jump over and read the NLT and go to the Good News translation, but since I'm doing readings of Psalm 83 and the NLT and the Good News, I'll just save those for when I do those readings, all right? Anyway, these things are faithful and true. Do not take that micro C hip, all right? I don't care what your excuse is, all right? If they threaten your life, they put you in a guillotine and tell you, because guillotines are probably coming back, all right? Or they are coming back, most likely. So they put your head in a guillotine and threaten your fucking life. You better tell them to send that blade down. Don't take that C hip. You better, as a matter of fact, you better pray that the Lord's will is on you not to take that thing. Because you could sit there and think in your head that you're not going to take it. All the way up until the Lord tells you, take it. You know what I mean? So, Yeah, so that's one of the things we are warned about. Other things we are warned about, I just want to go through this real quick. My bad, right? Is that we are warned about, yes, these other nations, right? But we are also warned about you 2/3. Okay, the Lord hasn't forgotten about anyone. You guys are all included in the scriptures too. All right, you guys come in the form of a warning for the 1/3. All right, we were warned about all you people, every single one of you. All right, Lord willing, I am of that number, but if I'm not, guess what? The remnant was warned about me. If I am to be destroyed, right? Lord willing, I'm not. Lord willing, I'm not, man. I don't want to be of any number outside of the remnant. But again, it doesn't matter what I want. It doesn't matter what you want. The Lord, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, right? This is his um this is his story. He wrote it, all right? He controls everything. He is the Almighty, all right? So now, I know that was a long intro, but it has to be done, right? So Psalm 83. In that lesson, choose affliction over sin for a season, all right? I stated this, all right? All of these other nations, all of them, have worked hand in hand in making sure that our name would be removed from the earth, all right? And they are still working at it, okay? You may have been disarmed and don't think anything is going on, all right? Or the Lord is working with you and you can see these things. Okay? You are staying and walking this path that the Lord is lighting up for you, for us, okay? So, we're going to read about this, about them making an alliance, okay? Because Psalm 83 touches on this, okay? So we're about to read it. All right? And I am using technology on these readings because we may go into some words, Lord willing. Okay? We may go into some of these words. All right, so let's go. Psalm 83. This is just going to be the King James reading for now. Okay? So, Lord willing, this comes through as sincere and edifying. All right? All right. So, the heading of Psalm 83 says, God implored to confound his enemies. All right. Verse 1. It says, a song or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still. Be not still, O God. All right. So we are sighing and crying, and we just ready for the Lord to not be still. Go ahead and act. Let's go. All right. He's going to do it on his time. Right. We know this, but we still sigh and cry. All right. And we ready for him to, we ready for this thing to just pop off. Verse 2, it says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. All right. So those that hate us have lifted up their head. They are very prideful. They have got up and above us through the Lord, though. All right. They don't even consider the Lord. They think that they've done all this by themselves. All right. But we know that the Lord has done this to teach us a lesson. All right. I want to try, or not try, I want to see what that word tumult is. All right. They make a tumult. Okay. It says to murmur, growl, roar, cry aloud, I mean. Mourn, rage, sound, make noise, tumult, be clamorous, be disquieted, to be in a stir, be in a commotion, to be boisterous, be turbulent. All right. It says to rage. I like that because here, hold on, I'll tell you why. It says to make a loud sound by implication to be in great commotion or tumult, to rage, war, moan, clamor. All right. So why did I say something about rage? Let's see. Because it made me think of this verse. Heathen. All right, this is Psalm 2 and verse 1. It says, why do the heathen rage? Right? Why do they cause a tumult? All right? And the people imagine a vain thing. Okay? They make futile plans. They don't even know what the hell is going on. They don't know what's coming towards them because they don't consider the Lord, all right? All right, they imagine a vain thing against us. They think they're going to accomplish what they set out to do. It's not going to happen. Anyway, again, Psalm 83, verse 2. It says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up thy head. All right, they've become very proud. Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. So a dangerous thing is one of their weapons is Israelites. They use Israelites against Israelites. We are we go above and beyond when it comes to whatever we do. Even wicked shit. Especially wicked shit. Okay? And they accuse us. All right? So yes, we do make questionable and that's I don't know, that's the only word I can think of now. These lyrics and these songs nowadays, man, even I look, I grew up on NWA or Too Short or so-called gangster rap, right? Yeah, I don't know why all these music artists are escaping me right now. Anyway, NWA is a good example, but back then they thought that was bad, right? And the music now, and I heard I don't know who it was. I heard one of these female rap songs, man. And even I was like, it caught my ear, like, what is this shit? Like, I had to shake my head at it. It threw me off so much. It made me think of how my dad used to shake his head, like, because it had me doing it. I'm like, damn, if I become my father, but no, these lyrics and this music coming from women's mouth are horrible. They're horrible, man. And then you know that, well, I mean, they've done interviews. Some of these women are rapping this shit and say that they don't even let their kids listen to it. They don't let their own kids listen to their own lyrics, but they push it. But this is the music they make, though. Now, with that being said, yes, we do. Um, uh, uh, we. Let me see. What I just said it earlier. We go above and beyond when it comes to certain things, right? So with this rap shit, yes, we are very good at it. Okay, so yes, we go overboard. Okay, but guess what? Guess who pushes that though? Why do people stop at being upset at the rappers? What about these companies that push this thing? All right, they're using Israelites against Israelites because they're going to group us all in that group of a degenerate people, of violent people. All right, over sexualized people, just dirty people, just people that gotta go, basically, right? And they're going to use that music that they push because they're the ones who own the companies, right? But they're going to use that to accuse us. They're going to use that to accuse us, all right? Just like if you go back, and I hate to keep going back, but if you go back to drugs, yes, they put it in the neighborhoods, and yes, we did that, okay? But who got those drugs over here? Who forced people's hands at having to do that to make a living? I'm not saying everybody, especially today, everybody ain't got to do that. But it's embedded in us for so long. And it's not just our people either, right? It's not just us doing that. It's not just us out there killing themselves. I mean, think about this. What were the mafia doing? The Italian mob in all these cities, what were they doing? They were killing each other also. But there are also Israelites that look like that probably were, well, in Sicily. All right, we are all over the place. That was something else I meant to touch on. We got scattered. All right, so we look like all people. We come in all shapes, forms, all shapes, sizes, complexions. All right, but with that being said, the Lord does look like a so-called black man. Look at the descriptions in the Bible. All right, you won't see that he's white. It never described him as white. All right, but that's what was pushed. Anyway, they're using Israelites against Israelites. And then they're going to accuse us to the whole world. Not that it needs to happen. Not that the whole world doesn't already hate Israelites. They're just using it, man. They're using what's going on today, what they are pushing. They're going to use that as fuel for the fire, all right? They're going to turn the world against you even more, against us even more. Okay? So that's just one weapon. But that's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to swallow right there, man. Crafty counsel. All right. Um. So verse 3 again, Psalm 83 and 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, against the Lord's people, right? And consulted against thy hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? You know, most Israelites don't know that they are Israelites. They are even hidden to themselves. But this truth is starting to point this all out. Like I said, the truth points to who is who. But your laziness, especially Israelites, will prevent you from going in. The Lord does all this, right? So 2/3 of us are not meant to get this now. But what I'm saying is, when you see the big picture, it's wild. It's wild to look at, man. But you are even hidden to yourself, right? People don't want to hear about who they really are. They'd rather go with what the world has told them that they are. All right, and that's a wild thing. And the world don't even want to face the truth of who the hidden ones are. So, uh, what is the biggest cover up? What is all what thing are all these distractions really here for? Believe it or not, it's because the people of the Bible, the Israelites, are the so-called blacks, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans. That is the biggest cover up. That they are the Lord's people. Oh, yeah, and after that come the scattered, all right, the ones who look like everyone else, right? The ones who look like the nations that they are scattered into. All right, that doesn't make you lesser Israelites. That just makes you more hard to see. Um, uh, that makes you a really hidden one. All right, you are hidden amongst all these other nations. All right, but the biggest conspiracy is hiding who the true Israelites are, who the Lord's people are. All right, that's the biggest conspiracy that's being hidden, and why these distractions are all out here at all times. It's to keep you from knowing that. That's what's behind the curtain. That is what is behind the curtain, all right? But the Lord's going to pull that curtain back, man. And the whole world's going to know what we already know, what we have been telling you. Speaking of my teachers, all right, I'm new to this. I am new, all right? Also, this is not my doctrine. This isn't even my teacher's doctrine. This isn't even Yahweh Shai's doctrine. This is Yahweh's doctrine, all right? Anyway, verse 4, Psalm 83. I'm going to start all over, so bear with me, all right? Psalm 83, okay? The heading is God implored to confound his enemies. Verse 1, it says, a song or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Verse 4 now. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance. I hope this is as plain to you as it is to me when I'm reading this now, since we went over that in first 3 verses the way that we did, all right? Verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. So all of these nations, with one consent, have consulted with each other, all right? They agree to try to keep this thing in motion, all right? What was it? To that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Okay. Verse 6. Now here's who it is. Listen to this. The tabernacles of Edom. Who is Esau Edom? Who is that? Where and who is he? Right? That was a reference to some lessons on this channel. Okay. But who else? Who's with Edom? So verse 6 again. Psalm 83 and verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. So all you Israelites running to Islam, you are trying. Look, man, you went over there because of the image. Don't lie. You went over there because of the image first. That's the top reason. Because you think these scriptures are that man's scriptures, all right? It's not. You were fooled. You were duped. You judged with your eyes, all right? You didn't go in here looking for no truth. You didn't go in here studying and reading. You got duped with your eyes. But at the time of the recording of this video, I think repentance is still open. All right, so all you gotta do is repent and turn. Come over here and search these things out. All right, but they are faithful and true. I will tell you that. All right. So again, let's see who's together with Edom. Psalm 83, or who are these nations that are against us? It's all of them. All right. Psalm 83 and verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab. All right. Moab is the so-called Chinese, or are the Chinese now. All right. And the Hagarenes verse 7. And I'm not going to guess on this, all right? But I have as a matter of fact, let me see something really quick. I'm not going to guess, but I did. Anyway, let's go back. Okay. So Psalm 83 and verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon. Ammon are the Japanese, all right. And Amalek. Amalek are the uh, Amalek are the 48ers, all right. The ones who were put in that land in 1948, all right. Uh, the ones that what is that called? Give me a minute. Lord willing, this will come back to me. Mm. Wow, I can't think of this right now. Yeah, I can't think of it. Anyway, it was 1948, and it was a declaration. Why is this escaping me? The Balfour, the Wada, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, all right? The Balfour Declaration, that's talking about Amalek, all right? Anyway, verse Psalm 83 and 7, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah, right? The children of Lot are Ammon and Moab, all right? Verse 9. Now listen to this. Remember it said at the top, it said, uh, the heading was God implored to confound his enemies, right? So here we are, verse 9, Psalm 83 and verse 9. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, as to, or at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. All right. Now people say that let me see when it says in all holy conversation. Let's read this verse really quick. All right, this is 2 Peter 3 and 11. I just want to clarify something, okay? All right, I'm going to start at verse, this is 2 Peter chapter 3. And I'm going to read verse 10 and 11 because I just want to make a quick point. All right, lessons within lessons. All right, the heading above 10 says a new heaven and earth. All right, 10 it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. All right, that's them missiles hitting over here. Okay, that's the missiles. All of them ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay, breaking America down. All right. Uh, it says, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Yes, you are going to be melted over here. All right, the elements are going to melt. Well, how you think you're going to stand? All right. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. All right, it's going to be cleansed. The earth is going to be cleansed by this heat. Verse 11. Now listen to this. It says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Godliness. Now listen to this. They hear that word conversation, they only think the words you speak. But right above that it said, what manner of persons ought ye to be? That's what it's talking about. It's not talking about no curse words. What kind of person are you going to be? All right. Okay. What kind of, knowing what's going to happen with the judgment of America or Babylon the Great, or the world, all right, these wicked people, what kind of person should you be as an Israelite? What should you be? I mean, we would want everyone to follow the path of Yahweh Shai, right? But what kind of person should you be knowing that the end is coming? It's a definite. All right, that's not talking about no curse words. All right. So why did I bring that up? Because it said dung. All right, verse 10, Psalm 83 and 10. Which perished at Endor, they became as dung for the earth. Now, if the Lord didn't like curse words, what you know what that you know what all right. Do you know what that word dung would be today? Shit. All right. It's not talking about, man, you can't, no, no, no. It's not curse words, all right? Holy conversation, that does not mean curse words. Anyway, Psalm 83 and 11, it says, make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zeba and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take ourselves the houses of God in possession. Same thing they're doing now, right? Oh my God, make them like a wheel as the stubble before the wind. They're gonna be stubble in this thing. They're gonna get burnt the fuck up. Now, okay. Psalm 83 and 14. As the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire, so persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. Now I'm going to say this. That's the end of the reading of Psalm 83. But I do want to say this. Some of these elites are going to escape. All right. So for you lower level Edomites that are over here, you're going to get burnt the fuck up, man. And they don't care. All right. They do not give a fuck about you, man. Okay. But they're going to escape from out of America. They're going to escape into these other countries. They're going to escape under the ocean. All right. You already hear about them making bunkers because they know a war is coming. They're not telling you what's coming. They're telling you by their actions, but they're not telling you. All right. They're going to escape into space stations, Antarctica. They're going to hide. They're going to hide. All right. But guess what's going to happen? America is going to get burnt up, and everyone over here outside of the remnant is going to get melted and die. Guess what's going to happen after that? Let me read something to you. Now listen to this. This is partially going on now, and then it's going to be going on after the after Babylon the Great is destroyed. This is Jeremiah 16 and verse. Let's see. I'm gonna read up. I'm gonna have to read up. Okay. I'm going to read from 14 to 18. Now listen up. The heading above 14, this is Jeremiah chapter 16. The heading above verse 14 says, God will restore them. All right. Verse 14, it says, Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, The Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. We're not going to talk about that anymore, right? Because what's going to happen? This is verse 15, Jeremiah 16 and 15. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, North America, all right? USA. Okay, let me read that again, Jeremiah 16 and 15. But the Lord, let me read 14 again. This is too good, man. I'm going to just read it. Now listen, please listen. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, The Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. And that was a very great thing that happened. Okay. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So it's not going to be spoken of Egypt so much. It's going to be spoken of what happens here. All right, the great deliverance from America, Babylon the Great. How is he going to do it? Believe it or not, what these people call UFOs are the chariots of the Lord. The whole world has been talking about these things forever. Okay, you're gonna see them. Everyone is gonna see them, and everyone is gonna see us, Lord willing, them of that number of the remnant. They're gonna see us taken up right before they burn the fuck up. Right before they burn up, man. So someone who's been telling you, you're gonna, if you are a wicked ass Israelite, right? You're gonna be standing next to someone. You probably gonna be arguing about the truth. All right, coming against it like you do. And in a moment's notice, you're gonna see a big ass chariot or so-called UFO come, all right, which is finally gonna shut your damn mouth up. Then the person that you was arguing with, telling you the truth, is gonna get taken up. And as you watch them taken up, a missile gonna come down here, and you're gonna be missile food, man. All right. But that's what is going to be talked about instead of Egypt now. Now it's going to be talked about, damn, the chariots. It went exactly like the Bible, like that was the truth. And everybody going to be in awe, right? Because we all going to see these things that we always looking for videos about. We always looking in the sky for these things. And they're going to be realized, man. It's going to be beautiful, man. All right. It says, brought up the children of the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, the scattered. Okay? The Gentiles, which are Greeks in a Gentile state of mind. Okay? Or any Israelite that is in a different state of mind than being in the Israelite state of mind. All right? Whatever they're called. Italians, Egypt. Like, we are all over the place, man. There are people that are Israelites that look like Chinese. There are Israelites that look white. Okay? It says, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So the Lord is going to put us back in our land. We're not going to have some damn declaration from a man, and then he's going to just send us over there. That's not how that happens. So how can they claim to be the people? The Lord didn't put them back over there. He is going to directly come over here, get us, and take us home. All right? And the whole world's going to be talking about this thing. Anyway, now check this out. This is after the top, the elite of Esau Edom leave the rest of you Edomites over here. They don't even fuck about you. They've got all the money. They scattered on into these other lands. Okay? Into space, beneath the ocean, in the ice. All right? This is what's going to happen with them. All right? First, come the fishers. All right? Listen. Jeremiah 16:16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. All right? That's what's going on now with the prophets preaching. All right? We are out here preaching, and the Spirit is gathering who? The remnant. Okay? That's the them. Hold on. And that's what it means by saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. Okay? Now what happens when this is after the destruction, when all these top elite people flee this land, thinking that they escaped. All right? It says, and after I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, and out of the holes in the rocks. For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face. You can't hide, man. Neither is there iniquity hid from mine eyes. That even includes you Israelites that think that you're going to leave America and escape judgment. All right? No matter where you go, you're going to get it, man. You cannot run. Jeremiah 16:18. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double cup. You're going to get this. You're going to get this work. Because they have defiled my land. That's what y'all did in 1948 and before that. All right. They have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. All right. That includes that micro C-hip. That includes these other damn philosophies too, man. All right. So that was the reading of Psalm 83. Okay, in the King James version. I pray I didn't, Lord willing, I didn't go off or misspeak. Okay, because it is a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living, living and true God, and that's paraphrasing. All right, so with that, Lord willing, I'll be back to read the other two translations. All right. Yeah, it shouldn't be as long as this video was, but hey, if the Lord wants it to go long, then it will. Okay, but anyway, so with that, like I say, all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And also shalom to the other sincere followers of this truth. All right, shalom.